Hey everybody, it's Maria, and today I want to tell you about what I've been reading the last few weeks. It's not really been a slumpy kind of weeks for me. It's just around my birthday I get really reflective. I want to do some rereads of things. I want to just kind of sit back and relax, work on projects. And so it's not been a typical reading time period for me. That said, I did want to show you what I've been working on because there's some really fun things that I've been reading. The first one I'm not finished with is The Natural Navigator by Tristan Gooley. He's written several, and these are just different kind of very short chapter nature-y guides to different things. And this talks about finding your way. Now, anybody who has ever been in a car with me on a road trip will probably find a laugh at this because I have no internal GPS. I never know which way is east or west or north or south. I understand the basic premise behind it, but I'm just, my husband bought me a GPS when they came out because it was cheaper than me getting lost for hours on end. So I think this will be kind of interesting. I don't know how much I will retain. I'm definitely interested in looking at a couple more books like this where they kind of have short blips on nature connections because I feel like that's a skill a lot of people have lost, and I'm trying to revive it, especially for my kids. The next book that I'm almost done with, this is Giants by John Stauffer, and it is a parallel biography of Frederick Douglass and Abraham Lincoln. While I think the writing is done well, and I've definitely learned a couple of fun little incidents that I didn't know or quotes, it's okay. It's not blowing me out of the water, but it's been kind of a fun one to pick up, especially seeing kind of how their lives go back and forth around the same time frame. How two different experiences can be similar in some things and very different in others. So one that I finished, this one was weird. I've seen it everywhere on BookTube, so I'm not going to talk too much about that, but it's Every Heart a Doorway by Shannon McGuire. And this book was, it's fairly short. I read it, I think, within one sitting because I wanted to know what was happening. It was very different than I had expected it to be. I thought it was going to be about these kids that go to a home because they come back from all these fantasy literary worlds and then don't know how to deal with real life. And it was a little bit of that. There was a murder that was thrown in. There were some good quotes. It was definitely very spooky, gory a little bit. So if you have a stomach for that, keep that in mind. But what I liked about this is it kind of highlighted the idea of what happens when you have reached that mountaintop experience and nobody else knows what that feels like. And everybody just wants you to get back to normal, and you don't know how to get back to normal because you've had this different experience than other people. And I think that was kind of a cool idea to explore. I think more people should explore that in literary terms because it was an interesting idea. Definitely different than I expected, so keep that in mind if you choose to pick it up. This next one I'm halfway through, and I'm going kind of slow because I'm trying to absorb it, and it's Tears We Cannot Stop by Michael Eric Dyson. I've seen this around a lot on BookTube, and I'm still kind of plowing through it. I don't know if I mentioned it before or not, but it's a sermon to white America, and he does not hold back any punches. He definitely even kind of criticizes some things that maybe are more, that term blackish, where people kind of make judgments as to what's too black, what's not black enough, and just the idea that there is a continuum of what you're supposed to be like as an African American, I think speaks volumes. But yes, it's definitely asking some questions of myself, which I need to reflect on. I'm really excited to get towards the end of it because I know Belinda on Belinda's Book Nook talked about how he talks about solutions and resources, and that I'm very interested in. While it's great to talk about problems, if we don't ever come to resolutions on how to make things better, it's kind of a lost opportunity. So I'm excited. Definitely pick this up. It's really not that long. I'm just going slow because I'm trying to go slow, which is a great segue into my last book that I wanted to talk about. And this is Aaron Lochner's Chasing Slow. And the subtitle is Courage to Journey Off the Beaten Path. And what I ate this book up. I was really encouraged. I actually wrote a whole page of notes while I was going through. There were certain quotes that I wanted to kind of pull out. And for me, this was really good timing to read this book because Erin talks about how she was kind of on the front end of the blogger movement. She was on the front end of Pinterest. She and her husband went out to LA, got a very fancy house, and then of course experienced some financial difficulties when they couldn't keep up with the Joneses, as to say, with everything. And then they moved back to Indiana, which is where I am. So that was kind of a cool connection, because I definitely resonated with the idea of trying to be minimalist, but also not trying to have that take over. And I liked how she talks about minimalism as, if you take minimalism without the grace, it just becomes another metric that you don't feel like you're going to measure up to. And I am so not about trying to feel like I'm enough or not enough. I'm not into that at this point in my life. I just want to be myself, who I am. And I love that this book was quite an affirmation of whoever you are, finding what things make you tick, what things make you excited, finding your reasons for things, finding your excitement, finding, why you do the things you do, and not feeling like you have to do things for other people, and not trying to push that on anyone else. I like how she talks about going out, and she's trying to adopt a vegan lifestyle, which is not for me. But she was saying one of her friends is making her feel guilty about ordering something more healthy. And she thought about it, and she decided that she was ordering something healthy for herself and not to make her friend feel better or worse. And I think sometimes just figuring out our motivations behind why we do things are important. When you're saying yes to things because you feel like you should, it's maybe a good signal to stop and pull back a little bit and figuring out why you're saying yes or no to things. So that has been really great with my word of the year for focus. This was just great, and I'm excited about kind of thinking more on what I'm doing for me and my family, and what I can choose to step away from. And another one that I listened to no, I didn't listen to it. I read it on digital format, was the Show Your Work by Austin Kleon. He wrote the Steal Your Art kind of books. Very thin book. It took me maybe an hour and a half to go through it, but there's so many great nuggets in there to take away. And the Show Your Work one is about taking the things that make you passionate and how to share them with your audience, whatever that looks like, whether it's a blog or a YouTube channel or your classroom. And so it gave me a lot of really great ideas for things that I want to do on here. So I don't want to share too much now, because I'm still kind of working through my head on what I think works with this platform and what I want to share. He talks about editing, not sharing everything, but sharing what you're excited about, and then coming together as a community. So I think especially for booktubers, pick up Show Your Work, because it really, I think, was an energizing call to doing something different and exciting, and that just made me thrilled. So that is what I have read, or almost have read, in the last few weeks. What are you working on reading? I would love to hear in the comments. What are you thinking? And especially this whole chasing slow movement. Are there challenges you have with that? Do you agree, disagree? I would love to hear in the comments. Please like, subscribe, share if that's something you're into. If not, I just hope you have a great week, because I'm feeling pretty rejuvenated right now, and I wish that on all of you. So I will talk to you all later, and have a great day.